At Hoval, we often get inquiries about smart home standards and smart home protocols like Thread, Matter, Apple HomeKit, Alexa, and many others. And we'll take a closer look at that in this video. To help us, we've brought in a specialist today, Thomas from Smatex, who will explain the benefits, the added value, and the development of these protocols and standards in more detail.
Hi, I'm Tom from Smatex, and we've made it our mission to finally shake up the do-it-yourself smart home market and make it possible for everyone to take their smart home into their own hands. In today's example, we're going to look at how to bring the Hoval heat pump into a Matter controller. What is a Matter controller? In Germany alone, there are over 10 million households that already have a smart speaker like an Alexa, an Apple HomePod or Apple TV or Google Show devices and so on. And most of these devices are already a Matter smart home controller. This means many people are already living in a smart home and don't even know it yet because they only use Alexa, for example, to turn on music or write a shopping list. Yet all smart home devices that have a Matter logo are compatible with these controllers. There are two different types of Matter devices, Matter over Wi-Fi, which use your standard Wi-Fi that you already have anyway, or Matter over Thread. You can easily check if you already have a Matter controller at home on smatex.de in our knowledge section. There's a detailed list of all Matter controllers there. Today, in this example, we'll look at how to add the Hoval heat pump to any Matter controller using a Shelly relay like this, so you can perfectly schedule and control your energy consumption.
Through Hoval Integrate, we've already integrated many compatibilities in the smart home sector, like LockZone, KNX, Home Assistant, or Shelly, or written guides for them. But now we're also interested in many other systems. There are a lot of interesting protocols out there that are really taking off right now. And I'd be curious to know which protocols are currently very popular and what the development looks like. I'd really love to get your take on this.
In my opinion, you can divide the whole smart home market into three broad categories. The first are the absolute professional systems like KNX, LockZone, which are simply installed by an electrician, where the customer really hands everything over to the electrician. The house is built turnkey, everything is installed. Automations, timers, temperature controls, and so on, that's all fully set up and ready to go. In the second category, we see the semi-DIY smart home systems, such as Homematic IP, Bosch Smart Home. These are end customer smart home systems where there are also many components that you can just plug and play together. The disadvantage of this from our point of view is that these are all proprietary systems. That means once I decide on Bosch Smart Home or Homematic IP or whatever, I'm trapped in that ecosystem and can't just break out and, for example, buy the next lamp from IKEA that I want to integrate into my smart home. And that's why we're so convinced by the Matter smart home standard. The main advantage is simply for us end users and not for the manufacturers. The manufacturers now face high competitive pressure because all devices are compatible with each other. That means no matter which manufacturer I buy a smart plug from, for example, as long as the Matter logo is on it, it's compatible. Also very nice for us end users. Once we've decided on our favorite brands, we can go wild and grab whatever we want off the shelf. The main thing is that the Matter logo is on it. Another big advantage is that you don't make yourself dependent on a cloud or a big corporation like Apple, Amazon, or Google. Of course, you can do Apple Home if you're super happy with it and are already well versed in the ecosystem anyway. If you have an iPhone anyway, it's perfect. But if, for example, your partner prefers to work with Android and Google, that's also not a problem because all Matter devices can always be integrated into up to 5 different apps and Matter platforms at the same time. And that is super exciting, especially with regard to energy management, heat pumps, PV systems, wall boxes, and storage, because only when all devices in a house really speak the same language can I build a proper energy management system. Maybe one more note on the Thread wireless standard. Why is it so important now? Why can't I just communicate via my Wi-Fi? The thing is, the Wi-Fi system is completely geared towards large amounts of data. If, for example, I have an intercom at the door that gives me a live video image, then of course I want the fastest possible video data, a real live feeling, and also the ability to speak directly live. I just need large amounts of data for that. However, if, as in our case, I want to integrate a high voltage heat pump and I just want to send myself a push notification in the event of a fault, then I simply need a reliable wireless standard that is designed for energy efficiency, speed, and stability. And that's exactly where the Thread wireless standard came into play. That's why it was developed. It is a mesh wireless system. This means that all devices that are permanently powered and speak matter over thread are also repeaters, networking with each other. The more matter over thread devices I have in a house, the more stable and better the range of the entire thread network becomes.
All right, Thomas. So with the Hoval heat pump, we have a lot of options, a lot of control options to integrate it into higher level systems. What's the deal with the standards? How far along are they? Which functions can I actually implement?
Yeah, with Hoval Integrate, you have a ton of different protocols you can use, like Modbus and Home Assistant, which we explained in another video. From my perspective, the golden path for Hoval would of course be to get their heat pumps certified in the Meta universe so that the heat pump speaks the Meta standard directly. But as long as that's not the case, most technical devices, heat pumps, ventilation systems, other water heaters always have the option to control them remotely via some relay contacts or status contacts. And you can get by with cheap components like a Shelly 1 Gen 4, for example, and create an integration into the Meta universe here.
Great, then I'll use the Shelly Gen 4 to, so to speak, trigger set points or actions on the Hoval heat pump via digital contacts. And I can use our digital outputs, for example, to visualize faults. But I can also, for instance, use energy meters in the supply line of the Hoval compressor to measure the electrical energy.
Exactly. And how to do all of that, we'll go through practically now.
For the terminal connection of the Shelly +1 Gen 4, it is necessary to power it via a 230 volt operating voltage supply and to connect it on the output side to the potential-free switching contact and a potential-free input or digital input of the Hoval TopTronic E. In this case, we can do that on the WE set module, which is permanently installed in every Hoval heat pump as delivered. We can plug it in there. If there aren't enough digital inputs, these green plugs here, it's also possible to expand the inputs using an expansion module, the TTE-FE Uni module. In this case, however, we have a free digital input on the basic module and can connect it here, so to speak, to VE1, potential free. If the contact here on the Shelly relay is then closed, the priority mode or the boost mode is triggered and the downstream offset values become active. They increase set points in heat production or in cooling. The set points are then reduced. Now, to activate the digital input VE1 on the TopTronic E, we must, of course, first set the parameter to active on that module. We can do that by first entering the user level. Now we need to go to the service level of the module where we just connected the Shelly +1. Here under General, Cleaning, Smart Grid. First, we have to set the Smart Grid function trigger to 1. This means it responds to input contacts. And now we have to activate the input accordingly. For Smart Grid input 1 assignment, the input must be deactivated to off. And for Smart Grid input 2 assignment, VE1 of the heat generator module must be selected. This way, it reacts to the potential free change in the switching state of the Shelly +1 and triggers the preferred operation or boost operation accordingly, switches it on, and activates the offset values that we are now configuring. Back in the service menu, we will now configure the offset values. Under service, heat generator, I want heating circuit 1 when boost operation or preferred operation is triggered to also receive increased set points and indirectly increase the flow temperature. I can do this in the parameter tree by raising the parameter smart grid offset room set point heating to, for example, 3 Kelvin upon activation with a standard set point of 20 degrees room temperature, the room temperature is raised to 23 degrees, thereby indirectly increasing the flow temperature, where individual room control can then of course also be activated via Home Assistant, so that the excess power can be stored in the screed or in the building mass. If the excess is now also to be used for domestic hot water, you can go via the hot water menu into its parameter tree. In its parameter tree, the offset value for domestic hot water heating can now also be increased, for example, by 30 Kelvin, with an existing value of, say, 40 degrees plus 30 Kelvin. The heat pump is run against the maximum temperature if the temperature falls below the set point. In this case, the hot water is limited to 58 degrees. That means 40 plus 30, it would normally make 70 degrees. However, we have limited the heat pump to 58 degrees, and the heat pump would not exceed this set point either, and would, so to speak, also switch off at 58 degrees. If you now want to use the surplus for the heating buffer tank as well, you can set parameters to active via the supplied TTEPS, that is the buffer module. Please note that this hardware module is absolutely necessary in order to use this function. You can access the correct parameter via the buffer submenu. And by setting the smart grid offset buffer should heat, for example, 10 degrees, the offset value is added to the set point of the automatic mode in the event of a surplus, and is in turn limited by the maximum temperature.
Max has just explained to us how to connect the Shelly Gen 4 to the Hoval heat pump so that you can control the heat pump remotely using the relay contact. For remote control, this Shelly relay now has to be paired with the respective Meta controller, and there's always this Meta QR code for that, which you just scan with the respective app. In my example, it's the Apple Home app, and here I just go to the plus sign at the top, add device, scan the QR code, which is recognized immediately, click on add to home, and now a connection is established. The Shelly is added to my home Wi-Fi, the passwords are automatically transferred, and I can then set in automations when the relay should be closed. I can switch this on, for example, when I have a surplus of electricity, in order to use my own energy that I've generated, and also switch it off again when I don't have a surplus. This whole thing works using Apple as an example under automations. I go to the automations menu, click on the plus sign, add automation, and now there's an if condition. So if a certain device, like my energy meter, reports that I have excess PV power, meaning I'm feeding into the grid, then my Shelly should be activated so that I use as much of the energy myself as possible. And the same thing the other way around. If I don't have any excess energy left, I want to turn the relay off again, and the heat pump goes back to its normal state.
The Hoval heat pump is now reassembled. We've just looked at how you can use a simple digital contact to switch the Hoval heat pump into boost mode for PV surplus control, or, for example, for dynamic electricity tariffs. So it's kept very simple. Of course, many other use cases like cooling requirements, operating mode switching, fault message visualization, etc. would all be possible. We're very excited to see how these protocols will develop further, and would like to thank our specialist Thomas very much for the insights and also for the added value we can now achieve with the Hoval heat pump.